and I was out. So I died. I went into ventricular fibrillation. My heart rate was like 386 beats a minute. So it was just quivering. It wasn't pumping blood. And it shocked me and I flatlined. So it gives an audible flatline like television. Seeing my son's shoes walking towards me and knowing, I was like, you've got to move, dude. You've got to move.
I think right now would be a perfect time to share that this podcast is officially sponsored. And this week's episode is brought to you by Juliana Barbati Consulting. Juliana is an expert in podcast SEO. She's worked with so many different podcasts and helped shows grow, helped shows get more eyes, helped shows get more ears, helped shows, get more followers. And I am honored to be working with her and have her team backing the podcast. So I'm very excited that they are the first advertiser to join the Round 2 podcast, first of many. So thank you, Juliana. And if you are looking for any sort of services to help your podcast grow, feel free to reach out to her. Her contact information is in the show notes. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Round 2 podcast. I am your host, Nikki Corbett, and I would like to welcome my guest today, Jeff Luther, to the podcast. How are you, Jeff?
Nikki, I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me on as a guest. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I have to give a shout out to Podmatch because you are another one of the guests that I have met through the platform. And I was just telling a friend that I feel like I should be a Podmatch ambassador because I had such great success with the platform so far.
Yeah, they've been fantastic. I've used a couple of others, but Podmatch seems to kind of have it dialed in.
Yeah, I think they make it pretty easy for people to connect. And I love that I was able to, put my ideal guest profile up and have got to connect with some really cool people from all over.
Right.
Awesome. So you're coming today from South Carolina?
That's right. Yep. I'm in Charleston. I say Charleston. I'm right across the bridge from Charleston into Mount Pleasant. So I live in a town, and it is a town. It's called Mount Pleasant.
Okay. I think that I either drove through there or drove by there on my way to go and visit a plantation when I was there a couple of years ago.
Yep, you did.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. It's such a interesting, area. It's funny. I love that you differentiated like town versus city because I truly believe that there is such a difference. I grew up in a town as well, so I'm familiar with the difference.
Right.
Yeah. So how long have you been there?
I've been here for eight years, a little over 8 years. So
Okay.
I have a quick story about town life. I came from Decatur, which is it's a city in Georgia. It's city of Atlanta, city of Decatur are right next to each other. So it was a big city.
Okay.
So I get here and I've got to pay automobile taxes to get my tag for this state. Go into the DMV and I'm standing at the tax assessor line. So there's no one else in the office. There's like 4 people behind the counter and I'm standing there and I wait. So the lady comes over and I pay my taxes, or I get my tax bill. So she hands me my tax bill. I was like, all right, can I just pay with a credit card? And she said, oh no, you have to go to the treasurer for that.
What?
Now I have to go to a whole different office. I was like, all right, so can you give me directions? She's like, yeah, the next window. And it's not even a window. It's like a counter with a plaque. So I had to slide down 2 feet to pay it. Like,
that is wild. Well, I mean, at least you didn't have to go far.
That's right. Yeah.
But that is really funny. And like that, I feel like that's very classic small town, right?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Man. And you can't, nothing happens fast.
Yeah.
9 o'clock, unless it's tourist season, at 9 o'clock, the restaurants close. So not eating after 9, which probably serves me well anyway. I think
right.
By then anyway.
I know. Isn't it so funny? It's like there's just like the circle of life, right? And it's like the older we get, we want to like have dinner earlier. Like, I mean, I have absolutely no problem having dinner at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. I'm like, if I'm hungry, I'm like, what am I going to do? Have a snack and then wait an hour or two just to eat at like a proper dinner time? I'm like, no, if I'm hungry at 4:30, I'm going to make something delicious to eat.
Right. Beauty of being a grown up.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, do you actively remember like the first time you said like, oh my God, can we turn the music down?
It's probably when I was backing up a car.
Oh my God, right? Why do we do that? You're like looking for an address, or you're almost there. You're like, let me turn the music down just so I can find it better.
So I can see better.
Yeah. Oh my God. I know.
Can't see a thing with this loud music.
Why is it so loud and it affecting my eyesight? I feel like everything's affecting my eyesight these days. And it's like I keep getting these text messages from my eye doctor being like, you're due for your annual. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I can't see again. I'll be in soon.
I think there's a way that the optometrists can send you a text and they make the font smaller and smaller with every one they send you.
They probably do. Oh my gosh. It really is so. Getting old is fun, isn't it? Older. I don't really view it as old. Older. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about you. Where are you originally from? You said you're from Decatur, Georgia. So did you grow up there your whole life?
No, I grew up like in a suburb of a suburb.
Okay.
I grew up in a town called Fairplay. So here we are back to town again, right?
Yeah.
And there's like 1,700 people there now. There's they had a post office, a middle school, an elementary school, and 2 convenience stores.
Okay.
When I was growing up.
Wow. So are you related to most people?
I mean, you would think. We moved there probably when I was 10 or 11.
Okay.
From a city. We were inside the city limits. But I pretty much grew up there, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was super simple. I had a 30-minute drive to high school, which, you're cutting a kid loose at 16. Driving 30 minutes, not like traffic. I was driving on rural roads.
Yeah.
Mornings and afternoons. I got my first real job when I was 19. Worked at Georgia Pacific. It was a Fortune 100. And that's when I was like, all right, I want to live in the city.
Oh, okay.
Bought my first house, city of Atlanta. I was 22. And shortly thereafter, got a job in Denver. So moved to Denver, lived out there a couple of years, then moved back to Atlanta. I was in Atlanta for a few years, moved to Decatur, and then did the whole, I tried out for family life. I tried out for like 22 years. I did great, but didn't work out.
I like that 22 years is considered a tryout.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I gave it my all for 22 years.
Yeah.
It just wasn't enough.
All right.
And then at some point along the way, we moved to, I still own my own company. This is kind of pursuant to the title of the podcast. And then I started another division in another state because of the people in my company that wanted to do it. So I was like, y'all do it. I'll support you. And everybody was like, let's do it.
Cool.
And that was the end of their enthusiasm.
Oh.
So yeah. So I invested the money, I invested the time. And so we moved to start this other branch in South Carolina. And that's how we ended up here. So.
Got it. And you've decided to stay, though.
Decided to stay. Yeah, I've been here for 8 years. I mean, it's a good place. It's a small town, good place to raise kids, quiet, safe. I will tell you, I don't know what I would do if I came home and someone had locked the door to my house.
Really?
Hopefully a window is open. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't even know where the keys are.
Oh my gosh. See, that's really cool though, because I feel like on the flip side, right? Yesterday, somebody rang the doorbell. Well, first off, somebody knocked on the door and I thought, and it was one of those kind of like, like kind of noisy or like, musical knocks. So I, of course, thought it was my brother. My brother lives in the neighborhood. So I went and I looked at the people and it wasn't my brother. So I thought, okay, well, I don't know who that is and I'm not expecting anybody. So I'm not going to answer the door if there's just a random man standing at the door. Maybe 30 seconds later, he rings the doorbell and knocks again. And I'm like, okay, sir, but still not answering the door, which is like so opposite of you being like, I don't even know where the keys to my front door are.
Yeah, but then when you go visit people, like the key to my truck, I leave it down. It's like the little key fob, it's just a push start.
Yeah.
So I leave it down in the console.
Overnight?
Well, all the time.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So then when I go to other people, if I drive to another city or if I go see someone, I got to pull my phone out. I'm like, oh, I left my truck unlocked and my keys. So I got to pull my phone out and lock my truck.
Oh my gosh.
And so the airport here is tiny. And we still, I sound like a prima donna. I've heard from other people that we still have valet parking at the airport.
Wow.
So you go to valet park and I've got to find my key to give these guys my key. Like, I don't even know where it is, man. The button, I just push the button when I get in and it works.
This is amazing. It's like stepping back in time, but in one of the best ways.
Yes. And people here still smoke cigarettes. Like, no kidding.
Oh boy, yeah, that's one of those fun ones, right? They're just being European. Maybe they're just holding on to that.
That's it.
Oh my gosh.
That's what we'll tell ourselves. I like that. I like the twist.
Yeah, you can spin anything these days, right? Oh my gosh. Well, that's great. So you mentioned kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 boys.
Oh, wow.
They are now 20, 18, and 16.
Oh, those are fun ages.
Yeah, I hit the lottery with my kids. I mean, my kids they're amazing. They're so awesome.
Nice.
Now, they're not going to carry me through retirement. I can assure you of that.
Hey, you never know. These days, kids are so crazy with some of the things that they start doing. And then all of a sudden, you have like these 25-year-old multimillionaires. I'm like, what's happening?
I know, right? Why didn't I think of that? Oh, because
kidding.
you're old. That's why you didn't think of that.
Well, it's also because like YouTube didn't exist when we were 25,
Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember, and you may remember this, but do you remember how YouTube started? It was
actually, I don't.
Those bum fights. Like we would get on YouTube to watch these homeless people fight.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Gosh, no, I had no idea.
I say like that's how it started. I don't, oh wow, YouTube day one. I don't remember that, but I remember getting on there to watch all this idiotic stuff.
Well, I mean, the thing about YouTube now is, I mean, I think it is like the most like utilized search engine, right? People go on there. Yeah. You can learn how to do anything between YouTube and ChatGPT. It's like anybody can take over the world. Yeah. It's like, you can learn how to build a car. You can learn how to dismantle a TV, like fix anything. Yep. If you really, really wanted to. I don't necessarily always want to, but I do like that there's so much knowledge at my fingertips where, you don't have to sit there and feel like a dummy or call your dad and be like, how do I do this?
Yeah. I mean, it's so simple. And someone's had that problem before. Whatever that problem is, someone has had it before.
Yeah.
But they were kind enough to document it. I never document.
I know, right? Well, actually, I look back on my life, especially in my college years, and I'm grateful that we did not have smartphones then, or even cell phones then. I'm grateful that that just wasn't a thing, because I'd rather just those memories live in the minds of whoever was there. To
this day, I would still feel comfortable running for a public office. And I'm proud of that.
Oh my gosh, right? Isn't that crazy? Think about all these things that all these kids have their entire lives documented in one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about you. What's, you and I had matched on Podmatch as far as being a good fit for a conversation that was in line with what Round 2 podcast is all about. So I'm curious, what was your Round 2 moment?
So I've got 2. You want personal or professional? Or
I like the personal stuff much more. And I think everybody does too. Professional stuff is fun, but a lot of people have had career changes. I think it's the personal stuff that people really are drawn to.
All right, we'll go personal. And so if seriously, like cut me off, like, whoa, dude, get to the good stuff. All right. So the first part of this is to build my ego. June the 5th. 2021, I ran, I'm a reformed ultra runner. So June 5th, 2021, I'm running an ultra. It was a 50K.
Just that's what I was gonna say. Give for context, ultra is 50K. So what is that in miles?
It was 33.8 miles.
And you were voluntarily doing this?
Voluntarily, yeah.
Woo.
But it was actually that race, I showed up to that race to win. That was the only reason I was there. Like I was going to win.
So you're fast is what you're saying.
I'm fit and I'm stubborn. Not really fast.
Okay.
It was my first overnight race. Oh. And it was in probably where you went to that plantation. There's like 7,500 acres of just national forest here. Okay. And it was in that national forest. It was in June.
Wow.
It
Ooh,
was
so real muggy?
Oh yeah. Muggy. Like muggy is an understatement. At the start of this race, it's like you start at 7:00 and in the race, it took me almost 6 hours. So at the start of the race, the race director says, "Hey, we've got heavy lightning. So we're going to give that like 10 minutes or so to pass and then we'll start." And I'm like,
whoa,
wait a second. We're running away from shelter into a forest.
Right, where there's all these trees that get struck by lightning.
Right.
Oh,
Yep.
whoa.
Yeah. So I ran that. I came in second. There was a kid there that like just destroyed me. So
okay, wait, hold on. You came in second. How many people were in this race? 2?
No. So the race, it started, I think there were 22 people that started, 6 people finished.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
like,
wild. So how many hours did it take?
It took me almost 6 hours. It's like 5 hours, 40 minutes.
And how many times do you think you stopped?
Oh man. Well, I stopped, like you have to stop a couple of times. Like you're in what's called the low country. Like it's swamps, it's marsh, it's night. There's alligators. I mean, I don't know how many alligators I saw.
Oh my God. And alligators are fast.
They are, but usually they're running away from you. Like that's my experience.
I can't remember. Did I read something? Is it alligators or crocodiles that are vegetarian? Or did I make that up completely?
Oh, you probably made that up.
Okay. I thought I read something where it said one of them was vegetarian. So like they were scary, but like they wouldn't eat you.
Oh, I don't know. There's got to be something like that. Like maybe, I don't know.
I could be totally wrong. But either of them, I find them both terrifying regardless of what they choose to eat.
Same. We're the same. We are definitely the same.
Yeah.
I probably stopped, but I probably stopped 4 times. But it's not like, you're not running all out. Like you're running, like, a 10-minute mile, 10.5-minute mile.
But still, for 33 miles, that's a lot of miles.
It's brutal. You know what's hard is like the little muscles in your body you don't use all the time, like the muscles in your feet, the muscles in your hips, your shoulders from moving your arms. It's all those little things that people don't think about. They're like, oh, I'm healthy. I can run 30 miles. Yeah, you can.
Here's what's funny. Is it like I think I am healthy and I also think I am fit, but there's the sentence I could run 30 miles nonchalantly would never escape my mouth. Like never.
Right. All right. So ran that race. So that was supposed to be quick and that was my ego builder. So I'm sorry. I took a little longer. And then June the 12th, a Saturday, I go to the CrossFit gym. I'm working out with my 16-year-old son. It's a partnered workout. So there's, I think there's like 20 or so folks there. Sure. June, big metal building, no air conditioning. We're working out, and anyone, if you've ever done like a partnered workout, high intensity interval training, when you work close with your partner, like you count each other's reps, so you know what the other person's doing. Another thing about a partnered workout is if you get a little bit of an edge on your partner, like you can bury them. And I was burying my son, which was almost like the last time in my life I'll ever be able to say that. So then I'm doing wall balls. It's like he would do 15, I would do 15. So I'm doing wall balls and I get like a real high heart rate in my neck. I can feel my heart rate. Man, that's really weird. And it's really fast. So I said, well, I'm going to stop for a second. So I stopped, I took a break and it kept going. Okay. And finally, I was like, man, I've got to take a knee. So I took a knee. And when I took a knee, and I'm not the person to take a knee. I'm just too stupid. I'll just stand there until I would rather pass out than take a knee. Right. So I took a knee and there was a guy in the rack beside me that was lifting and he touched my shoulder and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm scared. I'm vulnerable. I don't know what's happening. Don't touch me. And then like in the same second, I thought, I'm scared. I'm vulnerable. I don't know what's happening. Please do not let me go. Don't let me go.
Wow.
And I thought, I've got to lie down. So I laid down, I laid over, I had the wall ball in my lap and I laid over and I was going to the floor. And I remember the left side of my face hit the floor. And the last thing I saw was my son's shoes, his white Metcons walking towards me.
Oh no.
And Nikki, I was like, oh my God, I've got to get up. I have to get up. My brain was telling me to get up and my body couldn't move. It's like there was no hydraulic fluid in my body. Nothing would respond.
Okay.
And I'm telling you that because it's not like in the movies. You know, the guy gets shot and he's bleeding everywhere and he's crawling over to the gun to save the pretty girl. And I was like, that does not happen.
Yeah.
And I was out. So I died. Like my heart, I went into ventricular fibrillation. Okay. My heart rate was like 386 beats a minute. So it was just quivering. It wasn't pumping blood. Yeah. My electrical signal got hung up. Excuse me. And I was out. So I'll give you, like, I went to sleep and I woke up.
That's what it felt like to you.
That's what it felt like.
Okay.
I woke up. I was looking around. I was soaking wet. So the first thing they did, well, they were like, oh, put his feet up. He's just hot. He passed out. And then they were like, well, he's not really responding. So they're slapping me around, trying to get me to come to. And then someone went and got ice. There was an ice machine at that gym, and they went and got ice and put ice on me. And so when I woke up, I was wet. And I looked at the coach and I was like, I passed out, didn't I? And he said, no, I don't think so. I said, yeah, because I couldn't piece the night together. I couldn't remember what I'd done the night before. And I'd flown in the night before after I put it all together and just went to bed. So I was like, man, I must have gotten drunk last night and came to this gym like an idiot thinking I could work out because I had this horrible taste in my mouth, like a hangover. And it just tasted like it's so weird, right? But remember that. So that's important to the rest of the story. And I was like, yeah, I must have gotten drunk and passed out. And he said, no, man, that's not what happened. So I've got these pads on my chest. The EMTs are getting the stretcher ready.
Oh, okay. So they had called 911. That's what I was sitting, I'm sitting here listening to this and I'm like, wait, did anyone call 911? Like, why aren't you at the hospital at this point? What's going on?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So spoiler alert to all your listeners too, is I survived. Right? So,
yes. Thankfully.
So they put me on the stretcher, and here's what happened. So they started kind of slapping me around thinking that I fainted or passed out from the heat. Then they put ice on me. So this is about 2 minutes into this thing. Right. So then they put ice on me and it was like, oh, he'll cool off and come around. So now we're about 3 minutes into this and someone says, hey, he doesn't have a pulse. And it's on video because they had video in the gym. Someone was like, hey, he doesn't have a pulse. There's no pulse. So then they start doing CPR. Luckily, there's a girl there who leads the safety team at our aquarium in Charleston.
Okay. Wow.
So they start doing CPR and then everybody's like, there's no pulse and he's not breathing. And now I'm turning gray. And this is our weightlifting coach was there too. So she's telling me this whole thing. So now I'm turning gray, but remember my 16-year-old son is standing over me. Yeah,
that's literally all I keep thinking about.
So they say, all right, get the AED, get the defibrillator. So they go get that. They put that on me. We're probably about minute 4.5. Okay. So they put that on me, and those things, you see the things on television where the person's dead and they shock them and they come back to life. Mm-hmm. That's not how they work. They have to have an electrical signal to put your heart back online. So
like an electrical signal coming from your body.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. There has to be some kind of signal at your heart so that it can shock you back into rhythm.
Got it. Okay.
So I had nothing. I had no rhythm. So it audibly says do chest compressions. So they're doing chest compressions. Then it detected a rhythm and it said initiate shock. So it initiates shock and it shocked me and I flatlined. So it gives an audible flatline like television. So, everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. My son loses his mind.
Well, yeah.
And we were both working under the same weightlifting coach at the time. So she was like, I had to pick him up and carry him. She's like, I started carrying him back. And then I had to have everybody in the gym. I was like, guys, you've got to block his dad. So then everybody stood around me. While he's losing his mind so that he couldn't see me. Since she said, I just carried him out of the gym. But that's the piece, that I don't know anything about. I never felt that.
So had somebody called 911 at this point simultaneously to all of this
they had already called.
Okay.
And, and they were close. So it didn't take them long to get there at all.
Okay.
And then they were doing chest compressions. It found rhythm again, shocked me again, didn't work again. and then shocked me the third time. And then, I woke up and I truly, and this is not to sound like Rambo or anything. I woke up, I was like, what's happening? Like, are we going to finish this workout? Like,
Oh my gosh,
what's
that's
up?
wild.
Yeah, it's so, because I have absolutely no recollection. I do remember like it was this morning, seeing my son's shoes walking towards me and knowing, I was like, you've got to move, dude. You've got to move.
Wow. So then did they take you to, I assume they took you to the hospital.
They did. But what's so funny is like men are just dumbasses, just dumbasses.
Hey, you said it. You said it.
Yeah, I, for sure. Because I was like, I'm fine. Like,
oh my gosh,
I've got a birthday party to go to in a couple hours.
Oh my gosh.
Like, what an idiot.
You're like, can I still go? It's supposed to be real fun.
Right. And that's another. So when I got in the ambulance, I said, yeah, I'll go, go ahead and take me. And I was looking for my son, and Jen had already taken him home. But they put me in the ambulance, and I was like, hey man, I have plans today. I'm taking my dog to the beach to run. I've got a birthday party to go to. My son's turning 16. Let's go. Turn the lights on. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
oh
stupid.
My gosh.
So it got me to the hospital. I was in the hospital for 4 days.
Whoa.
And they were doing all these tests on me. And this is a side note, but what was so frustrating is they were like, you're really fit. Mm-hmm. What were you doing? It's like, I was doing wall balls. What were you doing the night before? It's like, I was on a plane. Will you take a drug test? Will you give us a urine sample so that we can test you for drugs? Just in case.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. So that part was really frustrating, and that went on for the better part of a day.
Interesting.
Like all the way down to how much pre-workout did you take that day? So that was frustrating. That was very.
So was it determined that you like had a heart attack, or what did they say? What happened?
No. So I had it's called sudden cardiac arrest. I had there's sudden cardiac arrest, which you go into cardiac arrest, and then there's sudden cardiac death where your heart stops. You're literally dead. Okay. I had sudden cardiac death, and it was from the electrical signal. There's a protein that your heart releases that gets in your blood. And I always forget the name of it, protein or something, when you have a heart attack. So there was none of that. Okay. It was truly an electrical issue. I was diagnosed with, and this is where it gets really sad. So you have to act sad.
Okay. I'll do my best.
I was diagnosed with ARVC. It's arrhythmogenic right ventricular cardiomyopathy. So it's arrhythmogenic. It's genetic.
Okay.
Right ventricle. So your right ventricle is affected. And then cardiomyopathy, which is the hardening of the heart wall, essentially.
Okay.
You have a gene that mutates, and that gene, it causes the muscle fibers in the heart, when they tear, instead of building back stronger like a healthy normal heart, like you running your 30 miles, it gets infiltrated with fat and scar tissue. Exercising makes it worse.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So can they like clear it out?
No, there's nothing. It's genetic. It's a genetic disorder. So that was my diagnosis. They were like, yeah. And so I said, well, what does that, what does that mean for my exercise, my running? Like I'm full strength. I've got to go win that race next year.
Right? You're like, I came in second. I got to get first.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And they said, yeah, you can exercise, but it'll be limited to yoga, and you could probably walk if you play golf. It's like, yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. To tell you it was horrible is sparing you so many expletives and so many negative words. It was so bad.
I bet. Yeah. So you're in the hospital. They tell you all this stuff. They're grilling you about, if you were doing drugs the night before. Right. Finally come to the conclusion that you weren't. But you told me to remember that you had a taste in your mouth. So what was that about? Yeah.
So, all right. So I'll fast forward a little bit. I'm in the hospital. I get this diagnosis. All the things happen. So they I've got a defibrillator installed. I had that surgery and had to wait 30 days. So you go, I can't pick anything up, do anything for 30 days. So for 30 days, I'm just kind of, sad sack. And because I'm so smart, in my infinite wisdom, I thought the doctors were wrong.
Of course. Yes.
So, that diagnosis just doesn't work. I've done all these things all my life. Like since I was 12, I've been doing this kind of stuff. Never had an issue. So I really didn't believe, I genuinely did not believe the diagnosis and still do not.
Okay.
So
but they did put a defibrillator inside your heart?
Yeah, I've got it. It's like right, it's on the side here. So I've got it here. The wire runs up and sits on top of my sternum.
Weird. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's like, I can show you. It's like,
okay. I mean, I can't see. Oh, I mean, yeah, it's big.
Yeah. Whoa. It's like a hockey puck.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then the wire runs up from there up through my chest. Right. I know. It's crazy, right?
That is crazy. So, okay. Keep going. I'm like fascinated here.
All right. So 30 days is up.
And is the 30 days just to make sure that it like works and that your body's accepted it and not rejected it?
Yeah, and they sew it into the muscle so you can't pick anything up. It'll pull it apart, all this kind of stuff. So 30 days to heal. Right. Yeah, sorry, that's gross.
Yeah. Well, it just sounds like it could be painful. And like, I've had surgery before too, where they're like, don't pick anything over like 5 pounds. And you're like, okay, like that's fun. Like, so nothing essentially. Great.
Yeah. So 30 days is up, and my son, who was with me, I didn't appreciate the trauma that he saw. I didn't appreciate any of it because I just went to sleep. I literally just went to sleep, woke up. So he's kind of pushing me. He's like, hey, let's go lift. And he wants to go back to the gym. So 30 days is up. I mean, Nikki, I did what any smart male athlete would do. I went back to the gym.
Oh my God.
And it happens again, like immediately.
No.
Yep. And this is, man. And here's what happened. I was doing a barbell complex. It's like, it's a certain number of lifts. Like you deadlift, then you clean, then you power clean, then you squat clean. Then it's like a 30, 40 second complex of movement. And I was about halfway through it and I felt that rapid heart rate in my neck. And then I got lightheaded. And I knew like, here's the thing that's so effed up is then I got the taste in my mouth and I knew with unwavering certainty that all the bargaining just stopped. I was dying. And I knew that I was dying, and I knew that it was coming fast, and that was it. Like, and I'll say this as a side note. I think very rarely do people get that. I'll call it a benefit, maybe the benefit of the long, drawn out death, where you have things that you can do. Yeah. And I don't know which is better or which is worse, but I will say, and this is said a lot in the entrepreneurial world, and I'm sure you're very familiar with this. When you're at the end, you think of all the things you could have done, right? So why not do them now? I will tell you that the only thing I thought of, and this is totally legitimate, real, the only thing I thought of consciously was that I wanted to connect with someone. I wanted to hug my kid. He was standing right behind me, and it was just because he was there. But I just wanted to hug anybody. I just wanted a human connection. That's all I wanted. The things, we'll think about when you're dying, what you could have done, what you should have said. Yeah. I just wanted to connect with another human. That's all I wanted. But here's another piece of it that's so jacked up is that it was 36 seconds. So I went into ventricular fibrillation for 36 seconds. And the reason I know is because doctors can see every single thing that happens with my heart. So I download all the results.
Okay.
So for that 36 seconds, I had to pretend like everything was okay. I had to hide what I was feeling. I had to hide what was happening because I didn't want my son to know. Yeah. And like in business, what do? Shit hits the fan and we pretend like it's okay. Yeah. And we hide. And so that's something I was like, I did that. I did that. Like when it mattered, when everything was supposed to be left on the field, everything, I caved and I hit it. So that's what's important about that taste is that's the taste of death. I can tell you what death tastes like.
Ooh.
right?
Wow. So then, okay, wait. So, but you said 36 seconds. So like, do you have to like tap this thing or does it just kick on or like, how does
There's
it
a button.
work?
It's like a nurse call.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm just so curious about. Or is it connected to like Wi-Fi and it knows and it zaps you?
Yeah, so it monitors your heart 24/7. And if you
Okay.
go into a bad rhythm, it'll monitor that rhythm for 1 minute. And if you stay
Okay.
in that rhythm for a minute, then it will spool, like it has to charge up, and then it shocks you and it shocks you back into rhythm. So I was in that
Wow.
bad rhythm for 36 seconds
Mm-hmm.
and I pulled out on my own. Never shocked me.
Oh.
It's crazy. It's wild, isn't it? So then
Yeah,
here's what
I feel
happened.
like I'm getting this massive education in the body for
Yeah.
one. Wow.
So I've got
Okay.
this little station by my bed, and once a week it uploads, or I mean whatever the
Mhm.
talk is, it faxes the results over
Yeah.
to the doctor. It beeps the doctor and then tells the doctor it's
Yeah.
got a fax on the fax machine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so once a
Okay.
week it uploads these results that a doctor off
Okay.
site reads and tells me what my heart's been doing.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
So
like if I
then,
have a
no, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Keep going.
So like if I have a bad day or an event happens or something screwy happens, I can go home to that port and upload the results, and I'll write down, and then I don't do this anymore. But what I used to do is write down what happened. This happened at 4:02 p.m. on Tuesday, and then I'll go home and download the results, and I'll shoot my doctor an email, or I'll send off one of the carrier pigeons that will eventually get there, and
Yeah.
say, hey, at 4:02 I had a funny rhythm. Can you look at my results and see what happens? And they can look and say, oh no,
Wow.
it was PVC or whatever.
Okay. Dang, that is wild.
Crazy.
So, okay. So has it happened again since then?
That was the last time. I've gone into bad rhythm, but I never knew any of them. Like I've had my doctor
Oh.
call me before,
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, you have an appointment in a week. Do you want to come in today? I'm like, no, I don't. Why?
You're like,
You
no,
going out of
I'm
town?
fine. Yeah.
Are you sure you're okay? Like, yeah, dude, just tell me. Like, tell me what happened, and then they'll tell me, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't notice it. But then I have
Interesting.
days where I do know it gets in your head, and people ask
Mm-hmm.
me like how often I think about it, and I think
Mm-hmm.
about it every 30 seconds, like at
Yeah.
least every 30 seconds. If
Wow.
I wake up in the middle of the night, I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think you asked me a question I totally spaced.
Oh no, I guess I was. Oh no, well, I was asking you if it had happened again, but I was
Oh,
also
right.
just like more. I mean, I'm just so intrigued by the whole journey.
Yeah, it's been so crazy. And I've been to just about every sports electrophysiologist in the nation,
Mm-hmm.
and to try to get an answer, like how does this happen? Because I
Mm-hmm.
meet a criteria, but I don't meet there's 4 criteria for this disease, and I meet 3 of the 4, and there's a
Okay.
4th that I don't meet. And they say, well, there's no other box. We can't put you in a different box. Like that's your box. And I'm going, man, aren't you guys curious? Like, isn't that the beauty of being a doctor is you could be curious and you can run these tests on people and they don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like you can have so much fun with me. I'll let you test anything.
Right? You're like, put me on all the treadmills and all the
Right.
sleep tests and everything.
Yeah.
So, what percentage of people have this?
Oh my gosh. It's like 1 in 100,000 people in the world have it.
Okay. So
It's
so
not.
it's rare. And then you said it's genetic. So have you had your sons tested or anyone in your family?
Yep. Had all 3 of the kids tested. They've been tested for the gene. They've been tested. And I'm gene elusive. So I have a gene that they think is one of the genes, but has not been identified by some certifying board as the gene.
Okay, gene elusive. I've never heard that term. But I feel like
Right.
that's all of more reason for them to want to explore you further because of this
Right.
whole 3 of the 4 and then now this
Yeah.
gene factor.
And that was my thing. I'm like, guys, I would be the best rat. Like I can
Yeah.
run for a long time. I'm willing to do any test you want me to do. You can do whatever you want. My sleep pattern is crazy. Like you
Mhm.
can, I mean, we would have so much fun. Nah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, my kids
But
have been through all the tests, everything, and they're clear.
oh good. So then what about like your physical fitness? you're obviously back, or you went back right away. So have you continued?
Yeah, I went back. When that happened the second time, that sent me into a really, really bad place. I became terrified.
I
I was
mean, I
scared.
feel
I
like
was,
that's
yeah.
justified though.
Oh, it was
Jeez.
so bad. It was so bad. Like it gives me chills to think about my mental space. I was scared to walk up a flight of steps.
Really?
I mean, I was scared to take a shower because I didn't want to be in a bathroom alone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drive. And that went on, let's see, that was July. That went on for about, it was over a month, like just kind of rolling over, like sad sack. And so it was bad. It was exacerbated because when I tell that story, and you're probably thinking this, and I'm sure listeners are thinking this, they think, oh, wow, I bet that dude is so grateful. I was not. I was so mad. I was so bitter. And the gratitude was lost in the anger and the resentment and the bitterness.
Yeah.
And that made me feel, I remember thinking, Jeff, you are probably one of the worst people you know.
Aw.
You just got this second chance at life and you can't even be thankful for it.
I mean, I feel like that could possibly be a fair statement if you were still feeling that way like a year down the road. But
Right.
so soon after, I mean, I feel like I hope you got to a place where you could offer yourself some grace, because that is got to be so terrifying to
Yeah.
be as physically fit as you were, and then to have this crazy thing happen. And then, I mean, I even got nervous for you when you said like at the 30-day mark, you're like, okay, sure, I'll go back to the gym. I would be like, maybe I ought to give it a little bit
Hey,
more
don't do that.
time. Yeah, like how about we don't? But then I think that there's almost like a mourning period, right? Where you have to kind of like accept this new reality and
Yeah.
realize, I mean, you have a foreign object in your body that you were certainly not anticipating being there. And then also like getting to a point where you aren't scared. I mean, I think
Right.
being scared is so normal.
Yeah, it was so bad. And I couldn't give myself grace. Like, and that's one of the things that I coach people on now. I'm like, hey, think about this is your friend telling this story. You would give your
Exactly.
friend some grace. But we don't treat ourselves that way.
No, 100%. Yeah.
We have these crazy expectations. So one day, and one day I was like, all right, man, you've got to do something. And I'll tell you this, one of the things that I learned several things that aren't related to death, related to like how we live. But one of the things I learned is people don't care what happens to you. And I don't mean that terse. I don't mean it ugly, but people can't get where you are emotionally. So they can't care, but they do care how you respond. They do. And they're watching. People don't remember, oh, well, Jeff had cancer and boy, that's what I remember about him. They remember, well, Jeff had cancer, but he gave up. Well, Jeff had cancer, but he fought. Or Jeff had cancer, but he always had a smile. That's what people remember.
That's such an interesting like observation.
Yeah, because people tried. And this is how I related it to someone one day. They were like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm like, all right, I come to you and I say, Nikki, you won't believe this, but I just caught my son smoking cigarettes. You're like, yeah. How old is he? Well, he's 16. Yeah. No, you don't understand. He was smoking cigarettes. Next, it's going to be pot. Then it's going to be crystal meth. Then he's going to be doing heroin. And he's going to die homeless on the street, right? Because I have all these emotions tangled up in it.
Right.
And you're looking at me thinking, that's what 16-year-olds do.
Yeah, if you went through that range of, a gateway drug to gateway drug, I'd be like, dude, you're insane. He's just a teenager.
Right. But I've got this emotion tied up in it. So when I would talk to people about what happened, like I've got this emotion tied up in it, and people can empathize, but they can't get there. Another spoiler alert. When I went back to the gym again, people would come out and they're like, yeah, man, when I hurt my shoulder, I was scared to work out. I'm like, yep, that's the same thing. I get it. Pain is pain. Pain is pain. So then I thought, man, I've got to move. I've got to figure this out. My kids are watching me. And they were watching me. They were watching me from a distance. They were watching.
Well, they were probably scared too.
My oldest kid was. The younger kids still they were like me. They didn't feel it. They weren't there. They didn't see it. They saw the panic at our house, but they just didn't feel it. So then I was walking on the beach one day and I was like, Jeff, you've got to find something good about this. You've just find one thing. Just find one thing. And that was a fight. Like, it sounds as dumb coming out of my mouth as it does hitting your ears. I promise you. But it was a fight. Like,
well, my initial thought is like, you're alive. Like, that's a positive.
Yeah, but it wasn't for me. And honestly, there was a point where I was bitter that there was a defibrillator there.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine that.
It's like, it would have been much easier if I had just let nature take its course.
Oh, I thought you meant the defibrillator that they put in your body, not that the defibrillator they had at the gym.
The one that saved my life. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I mean, that's how dark it got. That's how dark it got. Like, so I was walking on the beach one day. I was like, Jeff, you've got to find something good. Just find one thing. Just start there. Just one thing. So I said, all right, I don't have a shellfish allergy. I live in a town where we eat tons of seafood. I don't have a shellfish allergy. I can eat shrimp. I can do whatever. And then I was like, all right, well, that's kind of lame, but we'll work with that.
Hey, I love shellfish, and I think that's pretty awesome because when I have a friend who has a severe, like, to the point where, like, if I ate seafood for lunch, like, she probably wouldn't want to hug me. Like, that's how severe her allergy is. And I'm like, wow, I'm grateful that's not me, because I'm like, give me the seafood tower. I want it all.
Right.
You know?
I want all of it.
Yeah.
Every bit. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, well, I can work with that. And then I really thought, and I was just walking on the beach and I was like, man, that sucks, but why are people's bodies different? Like, why is my body not allergic to shellfish? I wonder if my body will respond to this disease differently. Like, maybe there's something there. Maybe my body is different. So then I started doing some research. I found things that I could do. I found really the big issue with this disease is, one, it's like adrenaline and things, prolonged exercise, like keeping your body under load for a long period of time.
So like a 33-mile race.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wondered if we were going to circle back and if that was going to have played any role along this journey. Okay.
Maybe. So I started researching things I could do. So adrenaline, endorphins, all the good chemicals that you get from exercise, that's bad for my heart. Crazy. So I've started looking into some exercises I could do, and I found a coach, and I said, hey man, you know what happened? He was there at the gym when it happened. I said, you know what happened? Here's what I found. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I want to do. Would you be willing to, one, make sure I don't die? And then coach me and help me move along, help me keep moving. He said he would. So we found some exercises and I met him at the gym. Here's what I had to do. I was like, all right, I have to be there. I'll be there at 1:00 when the 12 o'clock class lets out. No music. You can't cheer me on. I can't stay under load for longer than 20 minutes at a time. And we laid out all these rules, and he was amazing. That's
awesome.
Helped me out. So I show up at the gym, and like as soon as I walk in, do you remember Fred Sanford?
Yeah, of course.
Sanford and Son?
Yeah.
As soon as I walk in, I was like, Elizabeth, this is the big one. Like, it's coming. And I was like, oh my God, I could not move. So I started out on an exercise bike. I rode the bike for 2 minutes. And I'm looking at my watch. I'm looking at my heart rate. And I was like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. And I was just paralyzed with fear. But I kept going. So we started the workout. And we did some warm-up exercises. And that made me so anxious. Like, it was miserable. And as soon as we started with kettlebell swings. And I did, I don't know, maybe 5. And I put it down and I said, I can't, man. I can't do it. And I'm crying. Like,
yeah.
And when I say I'm crying, like, I am crying. And I said, I can't do it. Why? Does that hurt? We can do a different exercise. Does that hurt? I said, no, I can't. I quit. I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? I said, I quit. I quit. The doctors tell me I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm done. I quit. And Nikki, in that instant, in that moment, I became a quitter. Like, totally became a quitter. And for anybody that's listening, if you've ever been there, I am so sorry. And if you haven't, I hope you never are. It was so bad. And he said, all right, you can quit. but just give me 30 seconds of work. Just do 30 seconds and then we'll be done. I just want you to end on a win. I said, no, you don't understand. I mean, I'm wiping snot off of my face. Like I am bawling.
Yeah.
I said, no, you don't understand. Like I quit. I'm done. I'm done. I get it. Just give me 30 seconds.
Man, I love this guy.
Yeah. And so he said, look, dude, I've got a client at 4:00. We have between now and 4:00. It's probably 1:15 at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have between now and 4:00. I just need you to give me 30 seconds. So I was like, all right. So there was a lot of cussing. And I did. I was like, I'll give you 30 seconds. And this is so horrible to say, but I own it. In my mind, I was hoping something bad was going to happen.
Oh, to like prove him. Yeah.
Yep. So I did 30 seconds of kettlebell swings and I stopped. He said, dude, that's a win. That's it. Yeah. That's a win. And he was over celebratory. That was my big win.
Sure.
So he said, that's it. That's all I needed. And you ended on a win. I said, well, I think I can do 30 more seconds. He's like, all right, rest a second and then we'll do it again. So I did 30 more seconds. I stopped. He's like, that's amazing. Like, I can't believe you just did 30 seconds again. I said, I think I can do another 30. So he said, all right, here's what we're going to do. Just do 30 seconds on and 30 seconds off and just do it and do it until you don't feel like it. And so I finished that whole workout. Like I did the whole workout, 30 on, 30 on. Yeah.
Awesome.
And that's when, like in that hour at the gym, I truly became a quitter. Like I know what that feels like now. And I got my life back. I literally got my life back.
This is such a cool story of like redemption, of, self-reliance, of self-advocacy, of asking for help, of being vulnerable. I mean, there are so many things that you did along this journey that, not a lot of people would do. They would just kind of accept what was told to them and roll over and just kind of say, okay, well, now I can't do these things anymore. I mean, to even have the level of self-awareness to be down and out, but out for a walk on the beach and say to yourself, like, well, what's one thing I can be grateful for? And to kind of start that momentum back moving in a positive direction. And to do your own research. I mean, I'm the biggest, advocate for self-advocacy, right? I mean, it's like we have to be our own advocates in all aspects of our life. And especially, I think, in our healthcare, because every body is different. And just because somebody reacted one way to one thing doesn't mean that somebody else is going to react the same way. So for you to go and do that research and then understand what you learned, and then also have the level of, just being able to go to this coach and just be like, hey, look, this is what I need to be here. Like, can you help me? Like, that was probably a tough position to be in.
It was. Nobody wanted to touch me.
Well, I mean, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying a tough position to be in, where it's like for you to be able to ask for the help. I mean, I think that, sometimes men, not to, say anything about men. I gave you that one wide open. Yeah. But I do think, though, that men sometimes have a tougher time asking for help than women may. And, for you to go man to man to someone else and just say, hey, look, this is what I've learned and this is what I need. And are you willing to work with me? And then what a fucking great guy for him to say yes. And then to work you to kind of help you through that extreme mental meltdown where you were just going to be like, okay, never mind. I mean, this is such a cool story.
Yeah, I owe him. There's no way. He has no idea what he did. Putting myself in his shoes to sit there and look at a grown man that's crying, sobbing, like hyperventilating, like a child that just got a spanking at the principal's office is like, all right, dude, you just go get in your car and leave.
No. But you know what? I love what you just said about like, he probably doesn't know like the impact that he had. That's truly my favorite part about human beings, is that by just being who we are, we can so profoundly impact somebody else's life to the point that like you will like never, like no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter where he goes or what he does, you're always going to remember him. And he's going to have played such a pivotal role in your like the man you are today. And he might just be like, yeah, I coached this guy who had this heart thing.
Yeah, it's so, because we have this, I want to say cognitive bias, but that's not it. I don't think. But it's like, you're with a bunch of college students that run track, and you're like, holy shit, you guys run a 5-minute mile? I'm like, yeah. Everybody runs a 5-minute mile. It's just normal to them. So to him, it's probably just normal. And yeah, you're right. Like that is one of the beautiful things about humans is like that connection. And I will tell you one of the things that I try really hard. I don't always hit the mark, but I try to connect with somebody. Like I like that connection. And then after that happened to me, I realized how important connection is to people. So it might not be important to me that day, but it might be important to the other person. So, instead of saying, hey, how are you? Because we say, how are you? Because we know we can control the narrative, right? Oh, I'm fine. I will say like, how's the day treating you? How's the morning treating you? I mean, it's okay. And if I get like some shit answer like that, I will say, okay, scale of 1 to 10. Yeah. 10's amazing. What's your day like? And then if somebody says a 4 or 5, I stop. Yeah. 4? What are you talking about, a 4? All right, we're going to make it a 6. How do we make it a 6? And that usually makes somebody's day a 6. Yeah, Yeah, we're cut from a similar cloth that way.
That's really, really cool. So what do you think? I mean, obviously your life has changed dramatically since all of this. What do you think so how many years ago was this now? 4 years ago about?
Almost 4 years, yeah.
Almost 4 years ago. So in the last 4 years, when you sit back and like reflect on your own growth throughout all of this, what do you think is like the best change that you've seen in yourself and how you like interact with the world?
Patience, having patience. I put alarms on my phone. I have an alarm that goes off at 7:42 every day, and it pops up, and it's alive, playful, and grateful. That's how I want my kids to see me, right? And then I have an alarm that goes off at 9:51, and that is patience. So that reminds me, be patient. And then I have an alarm that goes off at, I don't know, like 10:40 or something now. I don't remember it, but that's grateful. So be grateful. And then at the end of the day, I've got one that goes off in the evening, and it's connect. And I have to just think about, did I connect with anybody today? Did I connect with any person? So patience is what changed the most. And it's funny that you asked me that, because I've been struggling with, I want to get back to that place. Because when I was in so much pain over all this, like I was really like in my feels, right? I don't know how you call it. But I was really in my feels. I was super, super aware, and I knew what I needed. It was hard for me to get there. And so now that I'm removed from it a little bit, it's like, I want to be back in that hurt locker.
Why?
Because that's where I got such strong emotion about, what I wanted to do to get better, what I wanted to do to move forward. And then it seems like you almost take it for granted a little bit as you move.
Interesting. I don't necessarily know that I'd want to go back to pain.
No, not that piece, but I want to be back in that mental state.
Oh, okay. Where you're just maybe like highly in tune with your emotions. Is that what it is? Sorry, my dog is whining behind me.
Tell me about your dog. What kind of dog is that?
His name is Norm. He is probably about 16 years old. He might be a little younger. We call his birthday the day that I got him. So that was November of 2010. And the vet said that he was between 1 and 1.5 when I got him. So we say that he was 1 at the day I brought him home. So that would make him 16 this November. But
oh, wow.
Who knows? He can't tell me, but he's just the best. And he's little and he still has a lot of energy. But this is around his time of day where he starts to be playful and active and he is the king of the early bird special. So he will prefer his dinner within the next 45 minutes and then we'll go for a walk later on. Yeah, he's the best. He's only like 15 pounds. Yeah.
His nails. Yeah. My dog does the same thing.
It's annoying when he starts wandering around. I wondered if he was going to wake up because he snoozes. He's a deep sleeper, man. In this age, he just sleeps all day long. It's really funny, but he's the best.
Awesome. Dogs are the best.
Yeah, they definitely are. So you were talking about being in like that state of emotion where...
Yeah, it's almost like back in that, it's like the rebuilding phase or something. I don't know. Everything just felt it was raw, but it was so real. It was more intense. Maybe things felt more intense than they feel now. Yeah. And maybe some of it I've kind of grown into and taken for granted. Like the first time you connect with a stranger, I remember I was in the Delta Sky Lounge and there was a woman in there and I was like, how's your day going? Oh, it's okay. Okay. It can be better than that. Like, how's your day? How's the day treating you? It's okay. I said, scale 1 to 10. 1 to 10. 10's amazing. How's your day going? She said a 2.
Oh, that's brutal.
2. Yeah. That's like jump off a bridge, like a 2. What is that all about? So I got in an argument with my daughter this morning before she went to school. So we talked for a few minutes. I mean, literally a few minutes. Like, yeah, it happens every morning at my house. There's something going on. Somebody's arguing with somebody about something.
Yeah.
And she's like, my day just got better. It's probably a 4 now. It's like, holy shit, look what just happened.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of commonplace. I don't know.
No, I mean, I totally get it. Like one of the things that's quite frankly bothered me for years is like the lack of like just common, what do I call it? Where people just say hi to each other, right? Like there's it's no longer like you go into a coffee shop and you walk up to the front and they're just like, what can I get you? And I always say like, hi, how are you? How's your day going? Because it's like we've lost this like just, ability to communicate with one another. Right. And sometimes I feel like people are so shocked that I actually ask like, hey, how's your day going? When it's like that should be normal and that's how things used to be. And we used to have these connections throughout the day where we, spoke to the mailman or we spoke to, this person at Starbucks or the dry cleaner or whomever it was or is. And I mean, I think that that's really necessary because it's like we need to know that we're not alone out there.
Right. Yeah. That's what people long for. People, I mean, like one of the 6 basic needs, the top one's love and connection, right? I think that's right.
Definitely. Yeah, that's what
people want. We long for connection. We're not driving through the bank anymore, talking with the teller.
Oh my gosh, right? I know. Well, and it's so true. I mean, one of the reasons why I love doing this podcast and one of my main goal with it is that, despite living in this time where we are more connected than ever, we can talk to anybody in any place at any time with all these different apps. There still is this like epidemic of loneliness going around and people are craving connection and people want to hear other people talking and have that feeling of like, oh my God, like that happened to me too. Or, oh my God, I can relate to feeling that way. Or, oh my God, I can, somebody else is like me. And so I always tell my guests that like, if just one person tells me like, oh my God, I listened to your podcast with your guest, Jeff, and I could relate to that feeling so much. And it just made me feel so much less alone. I'm like, my job is done. I love it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thank you so much for sharing your story. That was such a fascinating journey of so many different things, but I think self-discovery being one at the top. And I love what you've taken from it and how you've chosen to apply it to your life as you're living it now.
Thank you. And maybe that's a piece of it too, because when you're in it, you don't appreciate, you don't recognize it, right? You just know you have to take a step. And that's one of the things I tell folks, look, take a step. The ground will find you. Yeah. Not that it find you on your face, but you'll be able to get up, but the ground will always find you. Mm-hmm. So when you're in it, it's just like, that's what you're doing. You just know, okay, I've got to do this next. This is hard, but I'm going to do it. And you don't have a choice. Mm-hmm. So now that I'm removed from it, maybe it was that journey that I enjoyed. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for doing this. Thanks for giving me a platform to tell my story.
gosh.
You're super fun to talk to. So this
Absolutely.
is really
Likewise. Thank you so much. And how can people find you if they want to get in touch?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm JD Luther 2.0 or All Can No Can't. And I've got All Can No Can't podcast, jeffluther.com, and I'm on LinkedIn and some other stuff too.
Perfect. I'll put all your info in the show notes. So everybody, thank you so much for being here, for listening, for watching. As always, please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the good things. Jeff, thank you so much again for sharing your story. And we will talk to you all next week. Bye.